7 men entered the Norwegian highlands in 1907. Only 4 came back, and none of them could explain what stood watching from the peaks. I was 23 when I joined a government mapping crew heading into the Jotunheimen range. Simple job: measure passes, mark elevations, chart routes for future rail lines. We met in the village of Lom, 5 Norwegians, 1 Dane, and our guide, an old Sami man named Eirik, who spoke more to the wind than to us. The lead surveyor was a man called Lindberg, stern, precise. He ran the expedition like a military unit. At first, everything was routine: cold mornings, long marches, numbers scratched into notebooks. Then Eirik stopped sleeping. The 3rd night out, I found him sitting by the fire, staring at the ridgeline above camp. I asked him what was wrong. He didn't look at me. "The high places have eyes," he said. I laughed, told him the mountains couldn't see anything. He finally turned. "Not the mountains," he said, "the ones who stand on them." I asked what he meant. He said in the old days, the Sami didn't cross certain valleys after dark, not because of wolves, not because of cold, because something waited on the high ground. Tall figures, still as stone, watching. He called them Gáimmežat, the silent ones. I told myself it was folklore, old stories to keep children close to camp. But here's the thing: Eirik wasn't trying to scare me, he was warning me. Now, before I continue, if you're new here, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And if this story gives you chills, hit that like button. It actually helps more than you know. All right, back to 1907. Day 5. We reached a plateau above the tree line. Open rock, clear sky, wind so cold it burned your face. Lindberg set up the theodolite. I stretched the measuring chain. The others marked positions. Then I noticed Eirik had stopped moving. He was staring at a ridge about 300 meters above us. I followed his gaze, and my chest went tight. A figure stood on the skyline, tall, too tall, shoulders narrow, no movement, no sway, just there. One of the men, Hansen, grabbed binoculars and looked. He lowered them slowly. "It has no face," he whispered. The wind screamed. Snow kicked up across the rocks. When I looked again, the ridge was empty. Lindberg ordered us to keep working. His voice was steady, but his hands weren't. That night, no one slept. The next morning, we found tracks in the snow around camp, but they weren't footprints. They were long, shallow grooves, like something had been dragged in circles around us while we slept. No beginning, no end, just loops. Hansen wanted to turn back. Lindberg refused. "We finished the survey," he said. "That's the job." Eirik shook his head slowly. "They know you're here now," he said, "and every time you look at them, they get closer." That sentence hit different, because I had looked. We all had. That afternoon, 2 men went to refill water canteens from a stream about 100 meters from camp. They didn't come back. We found the canteens, full, sitting upright on a flat rock. No bodies, no blood, no tracks leading away, just silence and the faint smell of something old. That night, I woke to pressure. Not sound, not cold, pressure, like the air itself was leaning on me. I opened my eyes. The fire had died to embers. Eirik was sitting up, face pale. "Do not look outside the tent," he said, but I could feel it. Something was standing just beyond the canvas, close enough to touch. I heard breathing, but not like a man breathes, slow, wet, wrong. Hansen started to reach for the tent flap. Eirik grabbed his wrist. "If you see it clearly, you belong to it." Hansen froze. We sat like that for hours, frozen, silent. When dawn finally came and I stepped outside, the snow around our tent was pressed flat in a perfect circle, and on the ridge above, 3 figures now stood where there had been 1. We didn't pack the equipment. We ran. 4 of us made it back to Lomme. Lindbergh filed the survey as incomplete. Hazardous terrain, he wrote. He never mentioned the figures. None of us did. But here's what stayed with me. Years later, I heard stories from other expeditions, other countries, different names for the same thing. Tall shapes on ridgelines, figures that don't move until you look away, the feeling of being watched from places nothing should stand. I don't know what we saw in those mountains, but I know this: some places aren't empty. They just wait for someone to notice, and once you do, part of you stays up there forever.